Okay, hey guys, this is Huge Piper here again. This is another 3 versus 3 Rome Total War battle. It's 31k. And basically, I played 2 battles yesterday. The first battle was basically myself, Titan's Helios, Spider Pig versus Centurion, Heaven Mohamed, and what was the third guy called? That's quite embarrassing actually. I'll find out once the battle starts. So it's basically us 3 versus the Seleucid Empire and the 2 Roman factions. So this is going to be slightly different. We're using Spider Pig's gone Pontus. The third player was Mohamed. Yeah, Will's Dreamy. Yeah, sorry, Will's Dreamy. I forgot who it was, but yeah. So Spider Pig's taking Pontus this time, and instead of playing Seleucid Empire, we're playing against 3 Roman factions. So I've taken Brutii this time, and I've actually brought 3 archers. So basically, Pontus is a chariot faction, and you bring 5 chariots at 31k usually. So we're bringing slightly more archers to defend against enemy archers who might try and flame the chariots. So I've got 3 units of archers, 5 cavalry, and the rest urbans and 1 legionary first cohort. So basically I'm sacrificing some urban power to defend the chariots. You check out Helios army. I don't know if Helios has actually changed his name to SK. So if you're actually called SK now, my apologies. I've always known you as Helios. SK is an amazing player from the Titans clan. He's a veteran of Total War, and he's one of the best players in the game in my opinion. So SK, aka Helios, he's brought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 units of urbans, with 2 units of urbans at the front in loose formation. He's got 6 units of cavalry and 2 archers there. Look at Spider Pig's army. He has 4 side chariots, and I think he has 2 missile chariots as well. So yeah. Yeah, no, he's actually 5 side chariots and 1 missile chariot. And he has the rest pikes. So SK's brought forward his archers. If you check out the enemy armies, they've got pretty standard armies. Centurion, 6 cavalry, and the rest urbans. Will's Dreamy. Looks like he has 5 cavalry, and the rest urbans. Mohamed has pretty much the same army except he has an archer. So both armies just forming up, and actually Will's Dreamy has the same army as Heaven Mohamed. Well, he's got 1 archer, 5 cavalry, and the rest urbans. So basically the enemy armies only have 2 units of archers between them, which, if you're fighting Pontus, you really want to bring more archers, in my opinion, because you look at the shields these guys have. They don't have the best skill against arrows, the best defense against arrows, and the archers can always try and flame the Scythe chariots, because the Scythe chariots aren't as powerful in large scale as they are in medium scale. So archers tend to be a better purchase when you're fighting against factions such as Pontus at 31k. But there's different strategies. Sometimes it's better to do the unexpected, I guess. So right now Spider Pig's firing arrows against Centurion, and SK got a few shots inside there against the Centurion's urban unit there. We have Spider Pigs put two units of Scythe chariots on the right flank, but in this battle we do have the cavalry disadvantage. I mean, I have 5 units of Praetorian cavalry. These guys have a chevron on them, and SK brought I think 5 as well. I think he brought 5. No, he brought 6. Yeah, he brought 6 cavalry. But we check out the enemy's cavalry. They have 6 there, 5, and another 5. So in terms of cavalry, we're outnumbered cavalry wise, but we do have the chariots. The thing to watch with chariots, they can be very, very effective against cavalry. They're not as effective in large scale as they are medium scale, in my opinion. So they can be very effective, but they can rout and run amok. So they're not the most predictable of units. If these guys run amok without doing a lot of damage, we're going to be seriously outnumbered cavalry wise. And you can see the Spider Pig resting his chariot archers. So these guys have gone in, used Contagion Circle, got some shots in, but you don't want these guys to get too tired, because it makes them more prone to taking damage and routing. SK brought forward his cavalry and his archers, and you can see here Dreamy already had his archers in flame, and that's a good example there. If you look at the archers there, some of the arrows went forward, some went up and down. That's why you always want to have your archers in the plains, not amongst troops, because it means they can get better shots in. He's also opted to keep his archers into tight formation, and that was primarily to attack the chariots with. If you keep these guys in tight formation, it keeps the arrows closer together, makes them slightly more accurate. But he really wants to get these guys into loose formation as fast as possible when he's fighting other archers, because they'll suffer a lot more damage in tight formation when they fight archers. So Spider Pig's brought over his chariot archers again, and he's doing more attacks on the archer auxilia. And I think these guys have greater range than the chariots, so if you can pull these guys back, get shots in, gives them an advantage. And you can see the Pontus chariots being in Contagion Circle, they tire out fairly fast, so they're already exhausted, very tired. I've also got archers. I brought forward my archers, and we're going to try and neutralise the threats against chariots. So I brought forward my 3 units of archers, and we've done some damage on Mohamed's archer unit there. One thing to note is Mohamed brought 1 unit of gold with 2 chevron. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He put a chevron on his archers, and sometimes that could be effective if you're trying to get shots in cavalry, but against other archers, I've always found that chevrons and archers aren't that cost effective. I usually put on attack on auxiliary archers. That's the most beneficial upgrade for archers at this scale. And then if you have any extra denarii afterwards, you can put defense on the archers. But attack's the most important upgrade on archers at this scale. So we're firing back at the archers there, and these guys should win the archer war. Spider Pig side, again, he's resting his missile chariots because they're very tired, and it makes them less effective when they're tired. Mohamed is slightly out of formation in comparison to Dreamy and Centurion. Makes him quite vulnerable. He's trying to chase down the archers there. I'm going to retreat the archers. And what's happened here is, as soon as Mohamed retreats, we're going to use the archers to shoot them in the back, and they're going to sustain a lot of damage from that, because it basically nullifies the urban's shield, and that's a big part of the urban's defense, is the shield. So just check out all the dead bodies there. So Centurion is pushing forward with Dreamy, some cavalry. And it's basically just trying to use the missile chariots, trying to get the maximum use out of them. Sometimes using the missile chariots works really well. Obviously we probably anticipated more enemy arch units, and the missile chariots are very effective at taking them out. However, only 2 arch units were actually brought to this battle. Helios has 2 units there defending the missile chariots, and I also have my chariot units there, my cavalry units there rather. So we don't really want to have too much on the left flank, because you still have Mohamed's cavalry there, so that's quite a big threat. So we can see here Will's Dreamy is pushing forward on the right flank with Centurion. So Will's has, I think, 5 units of cavalry. He's got 5 units of Praetorian cavalry and 1 Roman armour general. And Centurion's brought over his cavalry. And what's actually happened is they brought over the cavalry, and they're pushing forward 2 units of urbans as well to try and engage in any cavalry battle that takes place. And Spider Pig also has 2 units of scythe chariots, and these guys are fairly powerful against cavalry. He's keeping these guys in loose formation, and the best way of using chariots is keep chariots in loose formation with scythe chariots, and that means that any attempt to flame them or make them to run amok is less effective. And he's actually put on upgrades on these chariots, so they're very, very powerful. And the plan is keep these guys in tight loose formation, and just before they attack, put them into tight formation. You always want to have chariots attacking blocks like this, in tight formation. And we can see there, Spider Pig put one of his Scythe Chariots into the battle. So SK's running over his cavalry, but if you see there, SK is moving over his cavalry with Spider Pig, but Mohamed at the exact same moment has moved forward the entire army with cavalry. So SK's done a really good job here. He's inflicted a lot of damage on Dreamy and Centurion, and the Chariots there did an amazing job getting a lot of damage. So that was really well played by Spider Pig and Centurion. However, just as that happened, Mohamed moved forward. We can see how far Mohamed's moved forward in comparison to my troops. And he has 5 units of cavalry. Some of these guys have chevrons on them. So basically I've got cavalry over here. However, I've got to move it back because Mohamed's going to attack. So it was kind of a 50-50 decision there. I could have either came over here to help out SK and Spider Pig. However, it means that we leave the right flank very vulnerable. So I chose to keep my cavalry on the right flank to defend against Mohamed. So that's kind of like 1 versus 1 kind of thing. So it might be the wrong decision, it might be the right decision. That's what I did. So we had the Peeler War happening there. Quite a fast advance by Mohamed. So some of these guys aren't in the right formation. Got quite a lot of good Peeler shots in there. Again, not had the chance to withdraw the archers properly, but they are getting some good shots in the cavalry. And you'll probably find that Mohamed you'll have a bit of an advantage over me in this battle, because I brought 3 units of archers to help defend against attacks on Scythe Chariots. Mohamed only brought 1 archer. He's able to bring more urbans. So I'm going to charge the cavalry in there, and we've done quite a lot of good damage on the urbans. Mohamed's counter charging my cavalry, but at the exact same time Will's Dreamy's put over 3 units of urbans. Check out the left flank there. Centurion's lined up against SK, and SK has a good amount of cavalry left. He's got 2 units of archers left. Spider Pig's in the centre, holding the centre line, and I'm basically getting double teamed slightly from Mohamed and Will's Dreamy. And you can see at the back there, Spider Pig has his chariots. So when you run down enemy skirmishers, try and keep the guys in loose formation. So do my best against Mohamed, but it's a good chance I'm going to probably get destroyed, because there's 3 extra units of urbans there, and Mohamed had an extra 2 units of urbans. So I'm a little bit outnumbered. So we can see SK fighting Centurion, and he has his cavalry around the back. Spider Pig doing a great job against Will's Dreamy. He's brought his chariots back, and he's attacking the rear of Dreamy's urbans. Dreamy trying to get a quick victory on Pontus. If they can at least break a few units here, it would enable a bit of breathing space, because SK still has the bulk of his cavalry left. So those chariots did a great job against the Urbans there, and SK brought back his cavalry to help out. So that's the centre of Dreamy broken, which is it's made his army very weak now. As expected, most of my army's been destroyed. Because I had 3 units of archers, I was able to put a chevron on these Urbans here, and they actually were able to defeat the 3 Urbans of Dreamy. But Mohamed still has a lot of troops here, so we'll try and get as many kills as we can down here. That'll help out Spider Pig. So good defensive block Spider Pig's made here with his pikes. Centurion doing a good job against Helios. It looks like Helios has put his troops into guard mode here to try and tire these guys out a little bit. He still has archers and spear units of Urbans at the back. Bulk of my army's been defeated by Mohamed. Still got 2 units of 2 units of archers here that are flaming the sides of Mohamed. Well, it's effectively game over. Spider Pig has a lot of pikes left, and Dreamy still has some Urbans coming back from the rout. However, these guys will rout a lot more easily, because they've already been routed once. So that's the last of my Urbans being routed. All I have left is 2 units of archers. Spider Pig has a lot of pikes left, and Dreamy has 2 units of Urbans left that obviously came back from chasing down enemy troops. However, they've ran straight into a side-track chariot unit, so that was quite unfortunate. Spider Pig has 3 units of pikemen there, and he put them to the back of the engagement, and basically the morale effect of being outflanked and surrounded made Centurion's Urbans rout without even having to fight at all. So it was a great move by Spider Pig there. The rest of my archers are still flaming the sides of Mohamed, and the rest of Spider Pig's pikes are being used to defeat the last of the Urbans. So Dreamy he's trying to do the Testero trick there, trying to break the phalanx, but it's not really going to be enough, to be honest. So that's really the battle over. There's not really any hope of a victory now. Look at all of SK's troops there, all the Spider Pig's pikes, and I'm sure there's still some cavalry somewhere as well. The gods be praised. So that was a great victory, very well played by my opponents, and well played by Spider Pig and Titan's SK, also known as Helios. Very well played by everyone. I hope you enjoyed this battle. Please make sure you like, comment and subscribe. If there's any comments you have or any battles you want to see in the future, please let me know. I'll see what I can do. That was a great game again. Well played everyone, and this is CH Piper signing off.